Hello everyone, welcome to part 3 of this series on AutoCAD. In this session, I'll be looking at AutoCAD command line. I will be explaining in details the command line, how to interpret the instruction and use it effectively. Let's get started. Below here, you have what we call the command line. You can see this white region. This is the command line area, the command line region. So the command line is very important. In learning AutoCAD, your command line as a beginner, command line is very, very important. So you need to understand how the command line works and how to interpret. So if I'm going to explain what the command line does, I will say the command line is like your instructor. It's like your instructor. So now on the command line, you get to learn how to use any tool of your choice. It gives you instruction on how to use the tool. Let's say, for instance, you click on your line tool, your command line is going to give you instruction on how to use the tool. So it's very important that you learn how to use the command line because you need to learn how to interpret what the command line is telling you. So it's very, very important. Now, depending on your screen, you can have the command line look just simply like this, like I have on my screen, or it could be in an expanded form. It could be in an expanded form. So whichever way it is, yeah, it's still the same. Now, you can see here, we have a white part and you have the gray part. Now, the white part will consist of your recent instruction. So as I said, the command line is all about instruction. It gives you instruction on how to use, it guides you on how to use any tool of your choice. So for instance, now I'm going to click on my line tool. So when I click on my line tool, you can see on my command line, it says line. You can see line in bold telling me, oh, this is a line tool. I'm using a line tool. Then you can see the first instruction that says specify first point. Now I'm going to respond to that by clicking on my screen, specify first point. Okay, now you will observe that on the white part, you have another instruction. And on the gray part, you have the old instruction. The old instruction is specify first point, which I have done. Then on the white part, you have the recent one, which is specify next point. So I'll be working with the recent one. The gray part is the old instruction. The white part is the most recent instruction. So now I'm going to respond to the recent instruction, which is specify next point. Okay, all right. So you can see. So now you will also observe that there is a bracket on the white part. There is a bracket, a square bracket. There is a square bracket. Then inside the square bracket, there are two things there. We have the close, we have undo. Now, the meaning of the square bracket is those are alternative instruction. So personally, I call this my default instruction, and I call what is inside the bracket my alternative instruction. So working on the command line, you have your default instruction, you have your alternative instruction. Your default instruction is the instruction outside the bracket. The alternative instruction are the instructions inside the bracket, because you can have several alternative instructions. You can have 9, 10 alternative instructions, but mind you, there will always be one default. You can't have two default instructions. You can't have three default instructions. Your default instruction will always be one. One default instruction, then you can have 2, 3, 4, 5 alternative instructions. Default instruction is the instruction outside the bracket. Alternative instruction is instructions are the instructions inside the bracket. So now, in summary, your command line gives you a guide, an instruction on how to use your tools. So you need to learn the default instruction, the alternative instruction. So the instruction, or let me say option, the default option and the alternative option. Altogether, the option is trying to ask you what exactly do you want to do. The software does not know what you want to do. So it's asking you. It has given you several options. Do you want to specify next point, or you want to close, or you want to undo? So you can pick anyone. What do you want to do? Do I want to close? Do I want to undo? Do I want to go by the default, which is specify next point? So to click on, to choose your alternative option, all you need to do is to click on close. All right. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to press, okay, I'm going to pick another tool. For instance, I'm picking on hack. I'm picking on hack. Now it has given me hack, specify start points of the hack. Then As an alternative, I have center. So at this point, I have two options, one default, one alternative. So you can pick any one depending on what you want to do. So if I want to go by my default, specify start point, I'll click on my screen. Then you can see it's giving me another instruction by default, specify second point. So I'm going to pick where I want my second point to be. All right, okay, all right, good. Then I pick my end point. So I've drawn an arc. So let me pick arc again and use a different route. Okay, arc specify start point. Now you can see on the command line, I have three options: specify second point, or center, or end. So if I want to go with the center option, I'll click on the center. Then it says specify center. Okay, I pick the center of the arc, then okay, I pick the end point. So now the command line has the default, it has the alternative instruction. Now, if I click on, let me choose a different tool. I click on polyline. It says specify start point. Okay, now here you will observe that your polyline has how many options at this point? One default, one, two, three, four, five. So one default option, five alternative. So in together, it's six options at this point. I have six options, one default, five alternative. So I can decide to go with any option of my choice. So if, for instance, now I want to go with arc, all I need to do is to click on the arc, then it switches to arc. Next video, I'm going to tell you more about polyline. So, but for now, we are just learning the command line. So now when I click on arc, I have several alternative options. So there are different things I can do. I can decide to go with any of these. So far, I understand what they do. So I'm going to click on line to switch. Okay, line. Okay, like that, like that, like that. So it's very important you understand your command line. It's very important. So your command line is a guide. It's a guide. It's a guide that tells you how to use your tools, whether your drawing tools, your modifying tools, or any tool you are using. So it's always good as a beginner that you learn your command line and learn to look at the command line to learn at this point what is the software expecting me to do. So very important. Okay, let me know on the comment section if you understand this, if you understand this, or you would like me to explain it in a different way. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.